संस्थापकं वीरम् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा,
जय भारत माँ जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ जय गीता माँ।
भारतीय संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा, ज्ञान और विज्ञान यहीं से सबने पाया सारा, सबने पाया सारा। कुछ भूलों से हारा फिर से जीते देश हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ जय गीता माँ।
शील सेवा व्रतधारी युवा जगे पुरुषार्थी,
जय भारत माँ जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ जय गीता माँ।
त्यागशील सेवा व्रतधारी युवा जगे पुरुषार्थी, वैज्ञानिकता विनय सभ्यता स्वभाव हो निस्वार्थी, स्वभाव हो निस्वार्थी। देशभक्ति में तेजस्वी हो फिर समाज यह सारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ जय गीता माँ।
बुद्ध गगन के तारे,
जय भारत माँ जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ जय गीता माँ।
महावीर गोविंद शिवाजी बुद्ध गगन के तारे, परंपरा की पुण्य चेतना उर में हम सब धारे, उर में हम सब धारे। बाल हृदय में उसे जगाकर जगे देश यह सारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ जय गीता माँ।
राष्ट्र समर्थ बनाओ, बंधु भाव समता ममता से सबको गले लगाओ, सबको गले लगाओ। चलो विवेकानंद मार्ग पर, शुभ संदेश हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, 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 गीता।
अधरं मधुरं वदनं मधुरं नयनं मधुरं हसितं मधुरं हृदयं मधुरं गमनं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
वचनं मधुरं चरितं मधुरं वसनं मधुरं वलितं मधुरं चलितं मधुरं भ्रमितं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
रेणुर्मधुरो रेणुर्मधुराः पाणिर्मधुराः पादौ मधुरौ नृत्यं मधुरं सख्यं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
गीतं मधुरं पीतं मधुरं भुक्तं मधुरं सुप्तं मधुरं रूपं मधुरं तिलकं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
तरणं मधुरं तरणं मधुरं हरणं मधुरं स्मरणं मधुरं वमितं मधुरं शमितं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
कुञ्जा मधुरा माला मधुरा यमुना मधुरा वीथी मधुरा सलिलं मधुरं कमलं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
मधुरा युक्तं मधुरं मुक्तं मधुरं कृष्णं मधुरं शिष्टं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
गोपा मधुरा गावो मधुरा यष्टिर्मधुरा सृष्टिर्मधुरा दलितं मधुरं फलितं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
अधरं मधुरं वदनं मधुरं नयनं मधुरं हसितं मधुरं हृदयं मधुरं गमनं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
वचनं मधुरं चरितं मधुरं वसनं मधुरं वलितं मधुरं चलितं मधुरं भ्रमितं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
रेणुर्मधुरो रेणुर्मधुराः पाणिर्मधुराः पादौ मधुरौ नृत्यं मधुरं सख्यं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
गीतं मधुरं पीतं मधुरं भुक्तं मधुरं सुप्तं मधुरं रूपं मधुरं तिलकं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
हरणं मधुरं तरणं मधुरं हरणं मधुरं स्मरणं मधुरं वमितं मधुरं शमितं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
कुञ्जा मधुरा माला मधुरा यमुना मधुरा वीथी मधुरा सलिलं मधुरं कमलं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
गोपी मधुरा लीला मधुरा युक्तं मधुरं मुक्तं मधुरं कृष्णं मधुरं शिष्टं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
गोपा मधुरा गावो मधुरा यष्टिर्मधुरा सृष्टिर्मधुरा दलितं मधुरं फलितं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
सद्गुणों की साधना में ध्येय ज्योति नित जले सद्गुणों की साधना में ध्येय ज्योति नित जले संग्राममय जीवन धरा पर विजय रथ ले हम चले सद्गुणों की साधना में ध्येय ज्योति नित जले
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मनु मुकुरु सुधारी बरनउ रघुबर विमल जसु जोदायकु फलचारी बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीसतिहु लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज संवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुबीर हरषि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरतई सम भाई सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सकै कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना। जुग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु, लील्योता ही मधुर फल जानू। प्रभु मुद्रिका मेली मुख माही, जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाही। दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते, सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते। राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे, होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे। सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी सरना, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज सम्हारो आपे, तीनों लोक हांकते कांपे। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुनावे। नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा। संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे, मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे, सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे। चारों जुग पर ताप तुम्हारा है, पर सिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता, असवर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे। अंत काल रघुबर पुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चित्तन धरई, हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई। संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई। जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई, छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई। जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा। पवन तनय संकट हरन, मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसहु सुर भूप। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय।
Jai Shri Krishna. In Zoom meeting, if you want to turn off the notification of Zoom chats, then click on the chats and then click on these three dots. Turn off notifications, click on that. Click on the mute option, and now chats notification will not disturb you. Jai Shri Krishna.
योगेशं सच्चिदानन्दं वासुदेवं व्रजप्रियं धर्मसंस्थापकं वीरम् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्।
Jai Shri Krishna. Seeking the blessings of Yogeshwara Krishna and our Gurus, let me at the outset bow down to all my Gurus, especially Param Pujya Swami, Guru Govinda Dev Girji Maharaj. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. A warm welcome to all sadhaks who have joined us for the interpretation session of chapter 18, Moksha Sannyasi Yoga. We all are really blessed to be associated with Geeta Pariwar as we get to know the meanings of shlokas in weekly Vivechan Satra. Before the session starts, let me request you to pay attention to me. There are certain guidelines we are giving. Dear participants, if you face any technical issue during the session, please follow these suggestions. Please do here, because what happens is once the Vivajan starts, there are lots of messages in the chat regarding this. That's why we are giving these instructions, or rather guidelines. Chat box blinking continuously. Tap the bell icon at the top right corner to mute notification. That was just a video was shown regarding that. Voice breaking, cutting, check your internet connection. If possible, use Wi-Fi instead of mobile data. Screen not visible. Click on Start Video in Zoom. Screen is blurry. This happens due to slow internet speed. Try switching your network. Zoom keeps disconnecting. You can also watch the session via the YouTube link. If Zoom suddenly closes, rejoin using the meeting link. Okay, these were the guidelines we are giving. Yeah. Now, let's start the session with a prayer, which is considered to be an integral part of our culture, and it's an expression of our devotion. And today, Suma Atriji from Bangalore is going to recite Prarthana. Didi is an educationist with postgraduate degree. Didi joined Geeta Pariwar in 2022 and is a Geeta Vriti, that is passing. She has passed exams by hearting 18 chapters, and after this great feat, she is giving seva as technical assistant and co-trainer. Let's invoke the blessings of Lord Krishna. Suma Didi, please. Yeah. Didi, you have to unmute Didi. Rashmi Didi.
Thank you, Mala Didi. Thank you.
Jai Shri Krishna.
वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनम् देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णौ वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् कृष्णौ वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् जय श्री कृष्ण.
Jai Shri Krishna. Thank you, Didi, for that melodious prayer.
Thank you.
Now it's time for Deepa Prajwalan. Deepa Jyoti Parabrahma. Deepa Sarva Tamopahaha. Deepena Sadhyate Sarvam. Sandhya Deepo Namostute. I prostrate to the dust lamp, whose light is the knowledge principle, the Supreme Lord, which removes the darkness of ignorance and by which all can be achieved in life. Thus, this custom contains a wealth of intellectual and spiritual meaning. Today, Sujana Chenjeri ji from Hyderabad is doing the Deepa Prajwalan. Didi joined Geeta Pariwar in September 2025 and is already giving seva as group coordinator. This September she joined and she's already giving seva. Didi, please.
निषिद्धैरप्येभिर्लुलितमकरन्दो मधुकरैः करैरिन्दोरन्तश्छुरित इव सम्भिन्नमुकुलः विधत्तां सिद्धिन्नो नयनसुभगामस्य सदसः प्रकीर्णः पुष्पाणां हरिचरणयोरञ्जलिरयम् शरदिन्दुनिभां शुभ्रवस्त्रैरलङ्कृतां कलहंसकृतावासां वरदां शारदा नुमः
Thank you for the devotional and beautiful Deep Prajulan Didi. I would like to inform all the participants that you may ask questions once the Vivechan is over. Raise your hands only after the session is over, please. Now, again, there is an announcement. First, please share this link to your near and dear ones so that they can also benefit from this Vivechan. Learngeeta is celebrating Geeta Jayanti Mahotsav from 15th November to 31st December. The portal is open. Organize a Parayan, Shobha Yatra, etc. in your area. Register on the portal. Be a part of this big event. Now, it's time for the most anticipated part of this session. Our speaker for the day is Vikas Vaidya ji from Pune. Vikas ji is a mechanical engineer and has done PGD BM also. He owns a small IT company. He's a multilinguistic with knowledge of Hindi, Marathi, English, Indonesian, Malaysian, and Spanish languages. He has been reciting all 18 chapters of Gita daily for the last more than 5 years. Bhaiya is a trainer for L1 to L4 and trainer's trainer for all levels. He is also involved in teaching and Vivechan of Vishnu Sahasranama. Vikas ji also gives guidance to Gita Vratis to prepare for Shringeri Peet Gita exam. Bhaiya himself has received first prize at the hands of Param Pujya Jagat Guru Shankaracharya. Over to you, Vikas Bhaiya.
वसुदेवसुदं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं जय श्री कृष्ण। पूज्य स्वामी जी के चरण कमलों में कोटि कोटि नमन। We have started discussing Adhyay 18th. Last time we had discussed up to slok number 9, I think. So before we start discussions today, let us first understand what is this Adhyay 18, the Yoga of Liberation and Renunciation, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. This Adhyay, it concludes the entire Gita. As we know, this is the last Adhyay of Gita. So it concludes the entire Gita, summarizing its essence. Surrendering to God completely, performing one's duties selflessly, and realizing the Supreme through renunciation. Sannyas. Sannyas of what? Ego and attachment. A small story so that this Adhyay will be more clear to all of us. There was once a king. His name was Vikramaditya. We know all that. Vikramaditya. He was known for his wisdom and justice. He ruled a vast kingdom and was loved by his people like anything. But as the years passed, he began to feel restless, discontented, and despite his success, he was feeling that. We also feel sometimes. Everything we have at our disposal, but even then we feel some restlessness. So this king, Vikramaditya, he also started feeling the same after ruling the kingdom successfully for many years. One evening, he invited his royal teacher, Gurudev, Rishi Vishwavarat. And he confessed to his Guru that Gurudev, I have everything, wealth, power, respect, yet my heart is not at peace. I feel bound by my duties and my desires. So how do I gain peace at heart? So I wish to renounce this world and live in the forest. Both ho gaya Raj karna. I want to live in the forest. The Gurudev smiled and he said nothing. Next morning, he gave the king a simple task. Simple task. He said, okay, if you want to come out of your this predicament, tomorrow go to the marketplace dressed as a commoner. Don't dress like a king. Dressed as a commoner, carry a pot filled with oil on your head and walk from one end to other. A soldier will follow you with a sword in his hand. Even a simple drop of oil spills, your head will be cut off. That is what you should keep in mind. The king was shocked, but he obeyed his Gurudev. He said, okay, Gurudev, I will do that. The next day, the king walked through the noisy market, vendors shouting, people laughing, drums beating, But he heard none of it. He heard none of it. His entire attention was fixed on the pot on his head, the oil pot on his head. Step by step, he walked, perfectly balanced, not spilling even a drop. When he returned, the Gurudev asked him, "Did you see the beautiful fabrics in the market? Did you smell the fresh sweets in the market? Did you hear the sweet music in the market?" The king replied, "No, Gurudev. My mind was entirely on that oil on my head, the pot of oil on my head." The Gurudev smiled and he said, "King, that is true renunciation. What you did was true renunciation. You did not run away to the forest. Remain in the world. As you walk through the market, you remain in the world. Perform your duties. Whatever the task I had given you, you performed it. But let your mind stay fixed on the Lord." Here your mind was fixed on the pot of oil on your head. Let your mind stay fixed on the Lord, just as your eyes stayed fixed on that pot. That focus will free you even in the midst of worldly noise. The king understood the message. He returned to his throne, but now he ruled without pride, without attachment, and without restlessness, because he understood the basic principle of sannyas. He found his moksha right in the midst of his duties. So what is the moral of this adhyay? True renunciation to sannyas is not by abandoning your duties, but in giving up the ego and attachment behind your duties. To live in the world, yet remain untouched by it. That is moksha sannyasa yoga. This is the crux of this matter, this adhyay, moksha sannyasa yoga, chapter 18th. Okay, to continue the discussion, we go to sloka number 10. न द्वेष्ट कुशलं कर्म कुशलेनानुषज्यते त्यागी सत्त्वसमाविष्टो मेधावी छिन्न संशयः. Those who neither avoid disagreeable work, न द्वेष्ट कुशलम, nor seek work because it is agreeable. They like it, so they do it. They don't like it, they don't do it. They are the persons of true renunciation. Like and dislike, they keep away and keep performing their kartavya karma. They are endowed with the quality of mode of goodness. Tyagi Sattvamishto and Medhavi Chinna Samshaya, they have no doubt about the nature of work that they are doing. Whether it will give me good or bad, they don't care about it. So people who are situated in sattvic renunciation, they are not miserable in disagreeable circumstances, nor do they get attached to the situations that are agreeable to them. They simply do their duty under all circumstances, without feeling elated when the going is good, or feeling dejected when the life becomes tough for them. They are not like a dry leaf that is tossed hither and there by every passing breeze. On the contrary, they are like the reeds in the sea, gently negotiating every rising and falling wave, while retaining their equanimity and without succumbing to the anger, to the greed, to the envy, or to the attachment. They watch the waves of events rising and falling around them. We see such people around us if we carefully observe. If we read the biographies of great people, we see such people around us who are not disturbed by the circumstances around them. One such example is of Bal Gangadhar Tilak. We know Bal Gangadhar Tilak was a scholar of Bhagavad-Gītā. He wrote Gita Rahasya. He himself was a great karma yogi. He wrote that book Gita Rahasya, emphasizing Gita as a karma yoga. He says Gita is nothing but a karma yoga only. Before Mahatma Gandhi came on the scene of freedom fight, he was at the forefront of freedom struggle of India. Later on, God knows for what reasons, Mahatma Gandhi was elected Gandhiji, Rashtrapita, and Bal Gangadhar Tilak, he fell little away. But Lokman Tilak, he was asked once as to what position he would choose if India became independent. You will like to become Prime Minister or Foreign Minister? Lokmanya Tilak said, I always desired to write a book on differential calculus. Many of you may be knowing that Lokmanya Tilak used to teach mathematics at Ferguson College in Pune. He was a teacher by profession. He was a professor. Some of my distant relations, great-grandfather, they were students of Lokmanya Tilak. And he was their teacher. So he said, I want to write a book on differential calculus. I will fulfill that desire of writing a book. No Prime Minister, no Foreign Minister. This same Bal Gangadhar Tilak was once arrested by police during their freedom struggle for creating unrest. You are provoking people, so he was arrested. He asked his friend to find out the provisions under which he was arrested, to inform him in the prison. When the friend reached him, after an hour, he was shocked to see that Tilak was fast asleep in the jail. He did not care, no tension that I am in the jail. Another time, he was writing an editorial for his newspaper Kesari. That Kesari newspaper is still published, though it is not so popular now. And in the veranda of his office of Kesari, he was writing that editorial when a villager came to meet him. And he said, Dada, we have some problem in our village and I want your help. Tilak said, let me finish this editorial. I am writing it. I have to send it for printing. Then I will speak to you. And I will understand your problem definitely. And then he continued writing. The villager said, no problem, Dada. My return bus to my village is in the evening only, and I have ample of time. No worries. I will wait. After 5-10 minutes, a gentleman came from inside the house and he informed Lokmanya Tilak, Dada, all preparations have been done. Now all are waiting for you. The villager heard this, that all are waiting for Tilak. He thought the lunch was ready and all were waiting for Tilak to start the lunch. Feeling a little embarrassed that he came at the wrong time, the villager said to Tilak, Dada, please have your lunch. I am in no hurry, as I told you. I will wait. Tilak had just finished his editorial and he said to the villager, no, they are not waiting for lunch. In fact, my elder son died this morning due to plague. That time plague was very strong in Pune, like COVID was there 5 years back. And a lot of people lost their lives because of plague. So Tilak said, my son died this morning because of plague and all preparations have been done to take him to crematorium, Vaikuntha Smashan Bhumi. I will go to Vaikuntha Smashan Bhumi for the cremation of my son and they are waiting for me. I have to give the Agni to him. But let me know what is your problem. You have come all the way from your village for solving your problem. What is your problem? How can I help you? You tell me, I will visit your village next week and we can solve your problem. The villager was speechless. He was in tears. He was unable to believe that a man talking so calmly with him is having his son's dead body lying in his house. And he was continuing to work, writing his editorial, and was trying to understand the problem that I have. So such karma yogis are there around us. We have to keep our eyes open and see. These instances reveal how Tilak retained his composure despite being in the midst of very disturbing situations. He was unable to perform his actions because his internal emotions composure. Had he been emotionally distressed because of that huge tragedy, he would have been unable to sleep in the prison cell. He slept in the prison cell when he was arrested, or concentrate on his work when his son died. So the true renunciation neither hates disagreeable work nor is attached to the agreeable work. He is intelligent and free from all doubts, filled with purity of Sattva Guna. So that is the essence of this. One more story about this shloka. Once there was an old gardener. His name was Dharmu, who lovingly tended to the king's royal garden. He worked from sunrise to sunset in that garden of the king, watering plants, pruning the trees, clearing the weeds, and planting new saplings in the garden. One day, a visitor asked him curiously, Dharmo, you work so hard every day. Don't you ever get tired of doing the same thing again and again? For years you are doing the same thing. Especially when the storm destroys your garden or when harsh sunlight burns the flowers which you have nurtured with so much efforts. Dharma smiled and he said, I do my work because I love gardening. Sometimes flowers bloom beautifully, sometimes they wither. Sometimes storms come and undo all my work, but that is all right. It is a part of the season. My job is to care for the plants. Their blooming or dying is not in my hands. I do my job, let the nature do its job. Then he added with calm wisdom, I neither get upset when the things go wrong, nor overjoyed when they go right. My joy lies in doing my duty well. This is a Karma Yoga. When the king heard of Dharma's words, he said to his courtiers, this humble gardener understands the Gita better than most of the scholars in my darbar. He is living Gita. He has mastered the Tyaga without ever reading the Bhagavad-Gītā. So the true renunciate sannyasi is one who works with balance, not rejecting the unpleasant duties, nor clinging to pleasant ones, but remaining calm in success or failure. He performs his karma without ego and established in the inner peace. Just like that gardener who accepted every season with equanimity, the wise person continues to act in the world, but his soul remains serene, calm, untouched by ups and downs of life. So these two examples, they teach this shloka perfectly well. Next shloka. Nahi devrata shakyan tyaktum karmanyasheshatah yastu karm phalatyagi satyagi ityavidhiyate. For embodied beings, Devabratam, we are embodied people, no? It is impossible to give up the activities entirely. No shakyum taktum karmanya sheshata. You cannot give up the karma completely. It is impossible for embodied people to give up the karmas. For embodied beings, it is impossible to give up activities entirely. Nahi devrata shakyam taktum karmanya sheshata. But those who relinquish the fruits of their actions, yastu karma phalatyagi. Those who relinquish the fruits of their actions are said to be truly renounced. Satyagi vidyate. Wo tyagi hai. Who has given up, relinquished the karma phala tyagi. So it may be contended that better than renunciation of fruits of action is simple renounce of all actions. छोड़ दो ना, action करना छोड़ दो तो कर्म फल automatic चला जाएगा. For then there will be no distraction from the meditation and contemplation. हम ध्यान लगा सकेंगे, कर्म ही करना छोड़ देंगे, ध्यान लगा के बैठते सिर्फ. Shri Krishna rejects this. He says this is not possible. You cannot just keep sitting in meditation all the time, giving up all your karmas. He states that the state of complete inactivity is impossible. You cannot do karma tyag. Impossible. For the embodied beings, it is a must to keep continuing the work. No being in this world can ever live without work. Even sheer survival without work is not possible. Our sharir has to function, no? Our body has to function. It has to sustain. It needs food to eat. It needs a bed to sleep, a shelter under which we can live. And for all this, you have to do the karma. So how can you give up the karma? Therefore, what is required is abandonment of fruits of all actions, not actions. But this is only possible when ego has been conquered and then all the steady state of intellect has been attained. Such attainment without sadhana is not possible. By merely reading books, not possible. You have to do some sadhana. Contemplation, manan, chintan, dhyan, dharana, all this. Sadhana requires sincere, steady and committed efforts. To get up every day in the morning at 4 o'clock needs some efforts, no? Some commitment, some sincerity, isn't it? The right way to follow the spiritual code of conduct is doing that sadhana. The basic functions for the maintenance of body, such as eating, sleeping, bathing, or other daily tasks have to be performed by everybody. These are also karmas only, no? So how can we give up karma? Besides, standing, sitting, thinking, walking, talking, and so on are also all the activities which cannot be avoided. आपके यहाँ कोई आए और आप सब बैठे जाए तो अच्छा है क्या? The guest is coming and say, मैं कुछ बोलने का काम भी नहीं करूंगा आज. Is it right? You cannot avoid that. Somebody comes and you don't look at him. You cannot do that. And all these are like karmas only. If you understand renunciation to be external abandonment of work, then no one can ever be truly renounced. We can never become sannyasi. If by relinquishing our karma, if we think we become sannyasi, Krishna disposes this idea. He says, hey, this is wrong. However, Shri Krishna states here that if one can give up the attachment to the fruits of actions, it is considered as perfect renunciation. हि देहव्रता शक्यं त्यक्तुं कर्मण्यशेषतः यस्तु कर्मफलत्यागी सत्यागीत्य विधीयते. So it is impossible for one who possesses a body, embodied person, to completely renounce all actions. But one who renounces the fruits of actions is truly called a sannyasi, a tyagi, a yogi. He is a renunciate. Once there was a great king who decided to renounce his kingdom in search of peace. He felt tired of responsibilities and thought, I will give up all my actions, all my duties. I will surely find the God if I do that. So one day he handed over his throne to his son, put on simple clothes like an ordinary man, and he went to live in the forest. In the forest, he met an old gardener who spent his days tending the trees and flowers with deep care and joy. The gardener greeted the king humbly and offered his fruits of garden that he had. The king was curious and asked, old man, you seemed so peaceful. Have you renounced the world too? आप भी सन्यासी हो गए क्या? You look very happy. Gardener smiled and said, no, renounce the world. That's not possible, my lord. I work every day from dawn till dusk, but I have renounced something greater, the desire for the work. I plant the trees that I have never sit under. I water the flowers whose fragrance I never reach. The fragrance never reach me. Yet my heart is at peace. The king was puzzled. But I have renounced everything, my kingdom, my power, my wealth, yet peace eludes me. Why? The gardener replied gently, because king, you have renounced your actions, not your attachment. You have given up your duties, but not your desires. You are still attached to the idea of finding peace. You still expect a reward, liberation from your renunciation. That expectation is also a fruit of action. The king felt silent. He realized that even though he had abandoned his kingdom, he had not truly practiced the tyaga, renunciation. He had merely changed the form of action, not the spirit. Gita expects us to have change of spirit, not change of action. Over time, following the gardener's advice, the king began helping him in his daily activities, like a gardener. He dug the soil, he planted the seeds, he tended the plants, all without thinking of reward or recognition. Gradually, he found a peace deeper than what he had ever known on his throne. So what is the moral of story? Lord Krishna in this shloka is explaining that complete giving up of action is not possible. The king was doing his job as a king. In the garden, he started working as a gardener. So you cannot avoid the actions. For any living being, it's not possible. The body itself demands activity. Breathing, eating, walking, speaking. Body demands all this. These are all the actions. What truly matters is not the abandonment of actions, but the renunciation of attachment to the results of action. I am ruling my kingdom and I expect this. Giving up that is a must. The gardener symbolizes a true tyagi, the one who performs his duties wholeheartedly but is unattached to the outcome. The king represents the mistaken notion that renunciation means withdrawal from the world. Shri Krishna clarifies to Arjuna that one must continue to act according to the one's dharma, but surrender the fruits of those actions to the God. Only then can one be truly free. So the spiritual lesson that we learn is Tyag, renunciation, does not mean running away from life or duties. It means working in the world without letting the world cling to your heart. True peace comes not from inaction, but from action performed in the spirit of surrender and selflessness. This small story teaches that the field of renunciation lies not in the forest, but in the mind. A householder can be a great tyagi if he works without selfish motive. And hermit may still bound if he clings to the desires in his thoughts. As Shri Krishna Bhagavan says, no one, one who renounces the fruits of actions, not action itself, is the true renunciate. He is a true tyagi. Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. So that's why we are discussing all this. Shlok 12. Anishtamishtam mishram cha trividam karuna phalam bhavatyatyagidam pritya nadu sannyasinam kvachit. The threefold fruits of action. Ishta, Anishta and Mishra. Pleasant, unpleasant and mixed. Accrue even after death to those who are attached to the personal reward. But for those who renounce the fruits of their actions during their lifetime, there are no such results in the life here, or the life hereafter. So if we spend our life without getting attached to Ishta, Mishta and Anishta and all this, Mishra, then we are not bound by actions. It is ego consciousness and desire integral to all motivated actions which bind the non-renouncers to the threefold action, threefold fruits of their actions after death. Ishta, Anishta and Mishra. Three kinds of rewards that soul reaps after death are Ishtam. Ishtam is the pleasant experiences in the celestial abode. Anishtam or unpleasant experiences in the hell. Mishram or mixed experiences in the human form on the earth planet. So if you do Ishta, good work, you go to the celestial heavenly abodes. If you do Anishtam, then that Anishtam karma, which you should not do actually, it will take you to the lower species, lower than human species. And if it is Mishra, some Ishta, some Anishta, most of us fall in this category, then again coming back to the human form, the earth planet. Those who perform virtuous acts are rewarded the celestial world. Those who perform unrighteous actions are given birth in the lower world. And those who perform mixture of both Ishta and Anishta, they come back to the human world. But this applies only when the actions are performed with the desire for rewards. Throughout the life, when we perform our actions, getting attached to the results of karma, then our karmas may be very good, fine. But we don't get moksha. We don't get moksha. If we do something excellent work, at the most we can get Swarga, heaven, celestial abode. If we do very bad, we go to the lower species. And if we do Mishra, both here and there, then we come back to human world. A Tyagi or Sannyasi, renouncers are not affected by the results of the fruits of their actions after death, because they never perform motivated actions. So all this Ishta, Anishta and Mishra, they put ordinary people who are attached to their karma phala to bondage. And according to that, they get next birth. Either they go to the heaven, or they come to this human world again, or they go to the lower species, because they are attached to their karma phala. But a sannyasi, a tyagi, who during his lifetime is never attached to the karma phala, he doesn't get bondage because of his actions. Also, whatever obligatory or daily actions they performed, they did that by surrendering all fruits of that karma, that action to the God. In this talk, three types of results, good, bad and mixed, Ishta, Anishta and Mishra, are for people who have not renounced the fruits of action, who are not tyagis. The central idea is that good, bad or mixed, whatever actions are performed in this world, the results cannot be avoided even after death. Actions are of three types. Karma phalas we can get in three types: Sanchit, prarabdha and kriyaman. All actions performed in previous lives or in the past in this life are sanchit. Sanchit is like a deposit. All karmas go and find that place in their deposit. They are deposited in the bank like. Prarabdha is the effect of sanchit karmas. It is lying in our deposit. When the prarabdha in the form of karma phala will spring up, we don't know. Whatever we are is our prarabdha. We did some good work in the previous life, so this prarabdha we are enjoying of learning and discussing Gita. Kriyaman karmas are what we daily perform in this life. They result in some immediate reaction and get vanquished, making the balance sheet of such karmas empty. Abhi karma kiya, phal mila, balance sheet clear. When such fruity desires, sakam karma is renounced and work is done merely as a duty to the God, no such results accrue from actions. No sanchit, no prarabdha, no kriyaman. Everything becomes zero when the desire for fruits of the karma is renounced. A similar rule exists in the world also. When a person kills another, it is considered as a murder, and that person could be hanged also. It is a crime, of course, yes. So that can even result in the death sentence if somebody kills some other person. However, if the government declares that someone is a notorious murderer or a thief who is wanted dead or alive, then killing such a person is not considered as an offense in the eyes of law also. You see many cases in Yogiji's Uttar Pradesh, where encounters take place every day and criminals are eliminated. And Yogiji, he honors such people, such police people who kill the criminals. So in the eyes of law also, killing of such person is not considered as an offense. Rather, it is a welcome step. So they are regarded as national hero if you kill the criminal. Similarly, when we give up personal motives in our actions, then the threefold fruits of actions do not accrue. No ishta, no anishta, and no mishra. Nothing accrues if we do it without personal motives in our actions. Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived three farmers, Hari, Raju, and Mohan. Three farmers, Hari, Raju, and Mohan. Each of them, they owned a similar piece of land, received same rainfall, and used the same seeds for sowing. Yet, their lives turned out very differently. After harvest season, the three sat together to discuss their yields. How much did you get? Hari said, I have received a good crop. I am very happy. God has been very kind to me. Raju said, my crop was half destroyed by the pests. I am miserable. God is unfair to me. Mohan, however, smiled peacefully and said, my crop is average. Some good, some bad. But it's fine. I did my best and accept whatever came my way. There was a saint in the village. He was listening to these three people discussing. He said, you three represent the three types of karma phala, fruits of action, that Lord Sri Krishna speaks of ishtam, pleasant, anishtam, unpleasant, and mishram, mixed. But only one of you has understood the true tyaga. The farmers were surprised. Who is that who has understood this principle of Gita? That Swamiji, he smiled at Mohan and he said, he worked sincerely without attachment, accepting both success and failure with the same calmness. He is the true tyagi. The fruits of his actions, whether good or bad, cannot bind him. But the others, bound by desire and expectation, will continue to experience joy and sorrow again and again. Years passed. Hari, who had become proud of his success, suffered terribly the next year when the drought struck. Raju, who always complained, grew bitter and left farming altogether. But Mohan continued farming peacefully, sharing his yield, good or bad, with the needy. His contentment grew And even during hard times, he remained inwardly joyful. So what is the connection of this shloka to this story? Like Shri Krishna tells to Arjuna that as long as we cling to the fruits of action, whether good, bad or mixed, we remain bound to the cycle of karma. Every action produces some results. The results could be Ishta, Anishta or Mishra. But for one who has not renounced or Tyagi, these results follow him, shaping his future experiences. Even in the next birth, they don't leave him after the death also. Next birth also, this karma phala keep chasing him. But for the sannyasi, one who performs actions selflessly and offers the fruits of his karma to the God, there is no bondage, neither in this life nor in the next life. He rises above the pleasure and pain alike. In this story, Hari represents Ishtafala, pleasant results that lead to attachment and pride. Raju represents Anishtafala, unpleasant results that lead to suffering and resentment. And Mohan represents Mishrafala, acceptance of both good and bad with equanimity through renunciation. So the Swamiji's words remind us that peace does not come from what we get, but from how we receive it. What is the spiritual lesson we get from this shloka? The fruits of our karma may differ. Fruits could be Ishta, Anishta, Mishta, or Mishra, whatever. But the spirit in which we perform our karma, it determines our bondage or freedom. When we work expecting rewards, we create karma that binds us. Even if the karma phala is Ishta, the bondage you cannot avoid if you are attached to the karma phala. When we work without expectation, surrendering the fruits to the divine, our actions purify us and free us from the cycle of birth and death. We learn in Gunatraya Vibhaga 14th Adhyaya that even the sattvic sattva guna also puts it under bondage. You help your friend who is in need and you expect that he will help you when you are in need, or you expect that whatever help you have given him, he will return it with interest to you, you are bondaged. You have done good act, sattva, but that has put you under bondage. Our objective of this life is to go beyond gunas, gunatit, because the sattva guna also doesn't get liberation, moksha. At the most, he can get celestial abode, swarga. If our intention is to get moksha, then we should cross over all the three gunas, sattva, rajata, moksha. And the best way God has taught us in this, Anishtam Ishtam Vishanaja Trivida Karmanam Phalam Bhavat Tyagan Pritya Nasanyasinam Kuchit. So when we work without expectation, surrendering the fruits to the divine, our actions purify us and they free us from the cycle of birth and death. That means we get the moksha for which we have on this life. Just like the serene farmer Mohan, the true Tyagi lives amidst activity, it remains untouched. Like a lotus in muddy water, such a one Tyagi, he enjoys peace here and liberation hereafter. So you get rewards both ways. When you are living in this human world, you get the peace of mind, and next life, you get liberation, you get moksha. What more we want? So if you follow the principles of this shlok in our day-to-day life, Anishtam Ishtam Mishanaja Trivida Karunam Phalam Bhavat Pidaganam Pritya Nata Sanyasanam Kuchit. Perform your duty, surrender the results, and live free from joy and sorrow or fear. Then your moksha is guaranteed. Next shloka. Now we always keep feeling that I have done the work. I am the karta. God says, no. There are 5 factors which are responsible for any karma to happen. Which are those? Panchaitani mahabaho karanani nibodhame sankhe krutante praktani siddhaye sarva karmanam. Arjuna, now learn from me, nibodhame, about 5 factors, panchayatani, that have been mentioned for accomplishment of all karmas, all actions in the doctrine of Sankhya Yoga, which explains how to stop reactions of karmas. If you understand that I am not the karta, these 5 factors are responsible for karma to happen, then we can avoid reactions of our karmas. On knowing that karmas can be performed without attachment to the fruits, a natural question arises. What constitutes karma? Shri Krishna is announcing to Arjuna that he is going to address this question now. What is karma and how it comes into effect? He is giving this knowledge and it will help develop a detachment from the results of action. We should know what is karma, no? How it happens. Then we can think of karma phala tyaga, which God is expecting us. Simultaneously, Shri Krishna Bhagavan clarifies that the description of the 5 limbs of action is not a new analysis, but what has been previously described in the Sankhya philosophy. Sankhya Krutante. So Sankhya refers to the system of philosophy established by Maharshi Kapil. He is the originator of Sankhya. He was the descendant of God himself, appeared on the earth as a child of Kardam Rishi and Devahuti. The Sankhya philosophy he propounded is based upon a system of analytical rationality. It develops knowledge about the self through the analysis of elements within the body and the world. So that is the Sankhya philosophy. It never talks of Paramatma, God and all that. It's a mechanical analysis of everything. It also ascertains the nature of cause and effect by an analysis of the elements of our actions. So what are those 5 factors? Which God said Panchetani Mahavav. These are those 5 elements. Look number 14. Adhishthānam tatha karta karanai cha pratakvidam vividascha pratak cheshta daivai chaivatra panchamam. The Lord enumerates 5 factors responsible for action to happen, karma to happen. Which are those? Adhishthan, the place. Place in this case is our body. Karta, doer, the soul. Various senses. Our indriyas are our karna, our sadhan, our instruments. Prathagvidam, the many kinds of efforts. And Daivai Chaivatra Panchavam, and Daiva, the divine providence, Daiva. These are the 5 factors for any karma to happen. In this slok, Adhisthana means the place of residence and refers to the body. Since karmas can only be performed when the soul is situated in the body. When the soul leaves the body, can the body perform any karma? Karta means the doer, refers to the soul. Although the soul itself does not perform any action, he is a karta, it inspires the body, mind and intellect. Because of his existence in the body is able to work. So he inspires the body, mind and intellect mechanism with the life force to act. Also due to influence of ego, it identifies with their actions. I have given you the inspiration, so I am the karta. That is the feeling the soul starts developing. Therefore, it is said to be responsible for the action performed by body, by mind, by intellect. And it is called knower or the doer. Upanishads say it is the soul that sees, it is the soul that touches, it is the soul that hears, it is the soul that feels, it is the soul that tests, thinks and comprehends. Thus the soul is considered both the knower as well as the doer. The Brahma Sutra, it also states that it is the soul that is the knower. It further says that the soul is the doer of actions. This is confirmed by the scriptures, by Vedas. From these quotations in Brahma Sutras and Upanishads, it is clear that soul is also a factor in accomplishing of our karma, our action. Now taking this discussion further, now the senses are the instruments for performing actions. Without our senses, 5 Dhanendriyas, 5 Karmendriyas, we cannot do any action. Without senses, the soul cannot have experienced the sensations of taste, touch, sight, smell or sound. So the soul is unable to taste anything unless the indriyas are there. Along with 5 Dhanendriyas, we have 5 Karmendriyas, working senses. our hands, legs, voice, and 2 for disposal of body waste, genitals and others. So it is with this help of these 10 indriyas that the soul accomplishes various kinds of actions. Thus, senses are also listed as factors in accomplishing of karmas. Further, despite all the instruments of action, if one does not put in efforts, nothing can ever be done, isn't it? So what we said was adhishthana tatha karta karani ki pratyagna vividashta pratak cheshta. So we discuss adhishthan, we discuss karta as soul, we discuss the karanam, that is our senses. Now pratak vidam and cheshta, pratak vidam cheshta, different types of efforts. If we don't take efforts despite having the senses, can the karma happen? If we do not put in efforts, nothing can ever be done. In fact, effort is so important that Chanakya Pandit states in Niti Sutras that with sufficient efforts, even poor destiny can be transformed into good fortune with efforts. So efforts are equally important for any karma to happen. Chanakya says, without proper efforts, even the good destiny can get converted into misfortune. That is the magic of our efforts. Therefore, cheshta, that means efforts, is another ingredient of the karma. So adhishthana tatha karta karani cha pratyagdam vividashta pratak cheshta. Daivai chaivatra panchamam. Something unknown, daiva. What is daiva? God is seated within the body of all beings as a witness. We saw this in the 13th adhyaya also. Upadrashtanumanta cha bharta bhakta maheshwara paramatma dijapikto dehesmin purusha paraha. So he is sitting in bodies of all as a witness, upadrashta. Based on their past karmas, he also bestows different abilities to different people to perform their actions. He has the record of our past karmas, these karmas, what we are doing now, what we have done in this life or in the earlier life, and he bestows different abilities to different people to perform their actions. One may call this divine providence, daiva. For example, some people possess the acumen for earning huge amounts of wealth. They are expert. You see many people who are expert in stock market, they know how to mint money in stock market. People may lose money in stock market, but these guys know how to make profits even in the falling market. Their acquaintances become astonished by their brilliant financial analysis of even the complex situation. They also seem to be lucky when they take the risk in life. Where others will say, "अरे डूब जाओगे, ऐसा मत लगाओ पैसा शेयर मार्केट में." They take the risk and it pays. This special intellect is granted to them by God. Similarly, others who have God-given talents in fields such as sports, music, art, literature, and so on and so forth, that is also their daiva. This God who bestows people these special abilities in accordance with their past karmas. Some become Sachin Tendulkar, some becomes Vinod Kambli, both started career together. One, he rose. He became the god of cricket, Sachin Tendulkar. And his close friend, who was even better in his efforts, Vinod Kambli, we saw what is his fate today. So he also grants the results of present karmas. Hence it is listed Daiva as one of the factors responsible for action or karma. Daiva. So 5 factors which God has said, Adhishthana tatha karta karanencha pratyagdam vividashta cheshta daivai chaivatra panchamam. So if the farmer sows seeds in the farm and says, I have cultivated the crop, God says, sorry, not correct. All these 5 factors are important. Adhishthana, karta, karanencha pratyagdam विदाष्ट चेष्टा एंड दैवई आपने सब काम किया रेनफॉल आया ही नहीं, ड्राउट हो गया, दैव व्हाट विल हैपन? कैन योर कर्मा टेक गुड शेप? नॉट पॉसिबल. So never claim the ownership of karma that I have done it. God says you alone can do nothing. These 5 factors are responsible. Okay, continuing the discussions. Now we always think that karma is done by our body. Whatever I do with my hands and legs or by talking is all karma. God says no, that's not correct. Next shloka 15 and 16 will take together, they are related to each other. शरीरवाङ्मनोभिर्यत् कर्म प्रारभते नरः न्याय्यं वा विपरीतं वा पञ्चैते तस्य हेतवः. And 16. तत्रैवं सति कर्तारमात्मानं केवलं तु यः पश्यत्य कृतबुद्धित्वान् न स पश्यति दुर्मतिः. These five are the contributing factors for which action is performed, whether proper, improper with body, whatever we saw, Anishtam, Ishtam, Mishrancha, these actions can be performed or rather performed by Sharira Vagmano Viryat, body, speech or mind. Sharir, body, Vak, speech, and Mano is mind. Those who do not understand this regard themselves as the only doer. With their impure intellect, they cannot see the things as they really are. Sapashyati Durmati. Whatever is there that you are not seeing, so you have Durmati. What does this mean? One needs to realize that Atma, the soul, the pure self, is not the doer of action. Atma, like space, is empty, unattached. It is the unattached witness. The driving force of our karmas are our samskars, our desires, and our mind. These propel our sense organs and body to perform the actions. Thus, the Atma is neither vile nor virtuous, and it neither gets into pleasure or pain. Who experiences the joy and sorrow? It is the mind. Desires arise in the mind, thus it is the mind that bears the consequences of results, the desires. And remember that you cannot dodge or evade the fruits of karma. It cannot be that you commit a crime and someone else will get the punishment. Yes, it may happen in human courts of law. Somebody commits the crime and some innocent fellow gets the punishment. It may happen in human court. But this kind of miscarriage of justice never happens in the law, in the jurisdiction of karma of God. You reap as you sow. Thus, if you commit an act of demerit, you will inevitably have to pay the price for receiving appropriate punishment. Likewise, you will invariably receive the pleasurable fruits for your meritorious actions also. But you cannot do trading of favorable and unfavorable fruits. Meaning, you cannot evade consequences of unmeritorious acts by performing some meritorious act. कुछ पाप कर्म कर दो और मैंने पाप किया है तो धुल जाएगा if I do some good work. God says it does not happen like that. You cannot do such exchange. Pleasure and punishment as a result of your karmas will run parallelly. Whatever good you have done, you will get pleasurable result. But whatever bad you have done, your good work will not wipe it out. You will get punishment for that bad. So these things run parallelly. All this may seem draconian for us. पाप किया लेकिन मैं इतना पुण्य भी तो किया है ना, तो पाप धुल जाना चाहिए मेरा. गॉड सेज ऐसा नहीं होता है. पाप किया है तो उसका फल भी मिलेगा, पुण्य किया तो उसका फल भी मिलेगा. बोथ विल रन पैरेलली. That is the way stringent law of karma works. So if you think, then you should think 1,000 times before doing any inauspicious or unmeritorious karma. Thinking that after this, even if I do some very, very great punya karma, this act which I am performing now, unmeritorious, inauspicious karma, is going to give me the punishment. Either through your speech or your actions. Sharira Vangmano Viryat. So it is no point in saying that I have not done anything. I have only thought about it. Did I do anything? God says, Manya. When you are thinking, karma has been registered. The consequences may not be as severe as if you do it by sharir, but consequences will be there. So when a thought comes to our mind, we should think whether this thought is going to put me under bondage. Whether I am doing good thought, thinking is good or bad. But that is also getting registered as a karma in our balance sheet. Sharira Vangmano Viryat. Or Vak. Whatever we speak is also karma. This is because once the arrow leaves the bow, it knows that it cannot be brought back. So before we speak, we must think, what I'm speaking, is it good? And the mind awakens the desires and will have to face the brunt of those desires. And Atma has nothing to do with this process. Where is Atma in all this? But ignorant beings with deluded intellect regard Atma as the doer, soul as the doer, and then they bear the consequences. Thus, such people do not see the reality as it really is. Sapashyati Durmati. They may have heard and read about the soul, but that does not affect them in their everyday transactions, their everyday behavior. Because the soul is known through realization only, not by reading books. Kabirdas says, the ignorant being, they lament that he has lost God. The pseudo-hypocrites claim to have attained the God. The Jnani, on the other hand, says, how can I attain that I have never lost? So people who study a lot of good Adhyatmic literature, they say, I have attained the God. They are hypocrites. The ignorant who have never worshipped God, they say, we have lost the God. The Jnani truly says, what is there to lose and gain? How can I attain that I have never lost? Our Vedas and our scriptures are categorically clear that the soul, being pure and complete, is above and beyond actions. But the actionless nature of soul is not easily understood. On the one hand, it is said that all the 5 causative factors of world can act on its own without proximity to the soul, and on the other hand, the actionless nature of soul is emphasized. Earlier shloka we saw that is the soul which acts. In this shloka we say, no, soul doesn't act. So this may appear to be a contradiction. The actionless nature of soul is always there because it has no wants or desires. It is a fragment of God. It is pure and complete. It is this detached presence of soul which activates these 5 factors to work. But this activation of 5 factors for karma, when soul does that and says that I have given them the life force, so I am doing it, that is the problem. That is putting the soul in the bondage. Like the colorblind people can never distinguish colors correctly. In the same fashion, the soul ignorant people can never know the true nature of the soul. This misery of divine, or rather the mystery of divine, can be understood in the state of spiritual realization, which only a yogi can realize through his yoga sadhana, through his meditation. Our Atma is Paramatma. Atma is Paramatma. It cannot be anything other than Parabrahma. Thus, if I believe my identity to be anything other than Parabrahma, then this is a misapprehension and an oversight of my blundering mind. Shri Krishna says, the 3 kinds of actions, Sharira Vangmano Bhiryat, Kaik, those performed by body, Vachik, performed by speech, and Manasik, performed by mind. All are karmas, all are actions. In each of these 3 categories, whether we do virtuous or sinful acts, prescribed or prohibited acts, the 5 causes mentioned in earlier shloka, Adhishthanam tatha karta karanencha pratakritam, vidashtabtak cheshta daimam chaivatra panchamam. They are responsible. Due to the ego, we think of ourselves as the doer. I achieved this, I accomplished that, I will do this. These statements we make under the illusion of being the doer. Shri Krishna's purpose in revealing this knowledge is to annihilate, to destroy the soul's pride of doership. God is teaching us this in Gita, that don't involve your soul in all this. Your body is doing the functions. Why you are punishing your soul for this? By attaching your soul to your body. Keep your soul separate from all this business. Thus he states that Those who see themselves as the only contributory factor for actions do not see the things as they truly are. So Pashyati Durmati. So if the soul were not granted a body by the God, it could not have done anything at all. Can the soul act on its own without body or in senses or mind or intellect? Further, if the body was not energized by the God, it still could not have done anything. So both are complementary, the soul and the body. The Upanishads say the Parabrahma cannot be described by voice. By its inspiration, the voice gets the power to speak. Parabrahma cannot be described by voice, but by its inspiration, soul's inspiration, Parabrahma's inspiration, the voice gets the power to speak. Parabrahma cannot be understood by mind and intellect. By its power, the mind and intellect work. Parabrahma cannot be seen with eyes, but by its inspiration, the eyes see. Parabrahma cannot be heard by ears, but by its inspiration, the ears hear. Parabrahma cannot be energized by life air, but by its inspiration, the life air functions. So this does not mean that the soul has no role in performing karmas. It is like a driver in the car controls the steering wheel of the car and decides where to turn it and at what speed to drive the car. Similarly, the soul to govern the actions of the body, mind, and intellect, but it should not claim any credit for any actions for itself. If we see ourselves as the soul, because soul S-O-L, not S-O-U-L, the sole cause of action, the only cause of action, then we want to have the enjoyment of the actions as well. If I have done it, then I will enjoy the fruits of the actions. But when we free ourselves for the pride of doership and ascribe to the credit of our efforts to the grace of God or those 5 factors mentioned by God, Adhishthanasa Krata Karnija Pratakdam Vidacha Pratikta Devi Chayatra Panchavam. So we give credit to the efforts of our efforts to the grace of God and the tools provided by Him. Then we also realize that we are not the enjoyers of our actions. And all our actions are meant for His pleasure. As explained by Shri Krishna in the next slokas, this understanding helps us to dedicate every act of sacrifice, charity, penance, yajna, dana, and tapa to Him and perform them with devotion. Next sloka 17. Yasya nahankruto bhavo buddhiryasya na lipyate hatvapi saiman lokan nahanti na nibadhyate. Those who are free from ego, yasya nahankruto, of being the doer and whose intellect is unattached, buddhiryasya na lipyate, though they may slay living beings. Hatvapi saiman lokan. They may slay the human beings, but they neither kill nor are bound by the actions or karmas. What does it mean? The crux of the matter is the level of consciousness. He who has risen above the body-mind consciousness and is established firmly in the spirit consciousness, such a person is not bound by the results of his action. By killing enemies in the battle, he is not affected, incurs no sin, because he does act with the motivated or selfish mind. Does he act with that? He has no personal interest in killing somebody across the border, isn't it? So he is killing that enemy in the battle. He does not have motivated or selfish mind for that. It is the body-mind consciousness which is subject to the law of 3 gunas, not the spirit. It is not affected by 3 gunas of Prakriti, the soul, the body, the Atma. It is Nirgun and Gunatit, our soul, because it is a fragment of God. It is a God quality, God attribute to be Nirgun and Gunatit. So being His fragment, our soul is also Nirgun and Gunatit. In such a state, no ego remains. Ego being the only binding factor, therefore, egoless yogi is free and unbounded by all actions, including that of killing. Atma lokanna hantina nibadyate. Despite killing somebody, he doesn't kill or doesn't get bondaged. Now a question may arise that God in the form of soul being present in all beings is responsible for each life. Then why he is allowing people to kill each other? What is that logic in that then? Why he is allowing people to commit the worst of sins and crimes that we see in our day-to-day life? When we read in newspaper or open the TV, we see all sorts of crime happening everywhere. If the God is there in everybody, why is this happening? The answer is that God certainly is present in all beings because no life is possible without his presence. And he permeates the entire universe. But the Prakriti, including all beings, is made of 3 gunas, and each of us acts according to the nature of his or her gunas. We are discussing Gita because we are full of sattvic gun at the moment. These gunas are a result of our past sanskars of the being, whose past sanskars are bad, tamasi, they keep committing crimes. We have done some virtuous work, karma, in our previous life. So we are here sitting, discussing Gita. So these gunas are the result of our past sanskars. Moreover, Prakriti, though it is Trigunatmak, it has given the freedom to think and freedom to act to all the human beings. Nobody forces us to come and sit in this Vivichan. We have the freedom. Whether we come and sit here or we go and watch a movie, isn't it? Can anybody force us? Nobody. And shall we accept anybody's force? No. We have the free will. But we sometimes misuse that free will. Unless each being rises above these 3 gunas, there is no escape. If you have to become gunatit, you have to rise above these 3 gunas. We should forget that our mind and intellect are also a part of Prakriti. You never forget this. Now the statement made in this shloka is rather a precarious statement. Because a half-baked knowledge is indeed a very dangerous thing. Interpreting this statement with an immature, impure intellect, many men abuse its meaning and use it as a license to carry out all kinds of papa karma, vile and nefarious activities. Yasya naham kruta bhava buddhiresana lipate hatpa pisaiman lokan dahantina nibadyate. Means I have not done it. A jnani is not desirous of the fruits, is not desirous of the worldly enjoyment, but if he were to get some material enjoyment effortlessly, without wishing for it, he sees no reason to refuse it. He is not desired for it. But he is getting, he welcomes it. He doesn't refuse it. This is Sri Krishna's life also. Sri Krishna's vision is reaching all encompassing. He is not talking about self-proclaimed phony sannyasi who shuts down the women also. One whose mind still harbors sexual desires, he alone will refuse to see women because he is afraid that he will get carried away by strong sexual impulse and commit an act which he would later be ashamed of. But whose minds are clear, pure, they will never have this kind of guilt. In this context, there was a time when in the late evening, a Swamiji would often be found in brothels or in gambling houses. One of his senior disciples found it very strange and he politely suggested, Swamiji, is it appropriate for a religious leader like you to visit a brothel, to visit such vile and bad places? Swamiji replied, first get it clear that I am not a religious leader. You may call me religious leader. I am not a religious leader of any sort. Secondly, know that it is in such places that I am likely to get potential listeners. The hypocrites in the so-called good societies, they will only listen, but they will never follow. They will never follow it in their life. I get potential listeners here who are serious. It needs courage to openly get indulged in such vile activities of immortality, and I need courageous followers. I don't seek hypocrites who indulge in such vice, vices, covering their faces, fearing that they would get exposed. So many good people visit such places, but they make sure that they are not identified. These people who visit these places openly indicate to me that they are desperately looking for some happiness in their life. I sit by them, but do not condemn or deride them in any way, because I become close to them, and once they open up to me that why they are coming here to find happiness, I inform them that their source of pleasure is temporary. By coming here, we will spend how much time? Half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours. This is temporary. Whereas there is another way which can lead to the permanent joy, to the eternal bliss. So this is the place where I find to convince these people who are in the search of happiness that temporary happiness is nothing. I will give you a wonderful place, wonderful sadhana which will give you permanent joy, eternal bliss. See, one needs guts too. One needs courage to tread on the path of spirituality. This path is not meant for faint-hearted people, nor it is meant for those who are contented with their average lives of temporary pleasures and pain. We should aspire for the permanent bliss, for the permanent joy in our life. He who can stake all his possessions, who can gamble all his earnings for the sake of temporary pleasure, it is certainly possible that he will be equally gusty in putting forth his all towards attaining eternal bliss. अरे भाई वो जुगाड़ खेलने आ रहा है and he is putting all his wealth on that just to get temporary pleasure. When he understands that by without pleasing anything of his life, he can still get the same return of permanent joy, permanent bliss. So this is then Swamiji's way of thinking of reforming the wayward people who had gone the wrong way. And he did not care what others people thought of him, that Swamiji is visiting such places. Yes, Swamiji would sit by the gamblers and the alcoholics. But he did not drink. He did not gamble with them. Yes, he would sit by the prostitutes, but he did not exploit them. On the contrary, he helped many such people who had gone astray to come on the proper path and help them in their upliftment. Okay, while coming back to the shloka, having described the accused intellect in previous shloka, Shri Krishna Bhagavan now describes the pure intellect. He says, those with purified intellect are free from false pride of being the doer. They also do not seek to enjoy the fruits of their actions. Thus, they are not bound in the karmic reactions of what they do. Swamiji will not be bound by the karmic action that he visited a brothel or visited a gambling place, because his mind was clear, his heart was clear. He was doing all these things unattached. He did not exploit anyone. Thus, they are not bound in the karmic reactions of what they are doing. Previously, in the slok of 5th Adhyay, he had also said that those who are detached from the results are never tempted by the sin. This principle has been emphasized in Gita in many shlokas. This 5th Adhyay, 10th shloka says, Brahmanyadaya karmani sangam tyakva karot yah lipyatena sa papena padma patramivambhasa. So from a material perspective, they may appear to be working, but from a spiritual perspective, they are free from selfish motivations. And therefore, they do not become bound by the results of their karmas. Ramakrishna Paramahansa was a great Santa we know, but like him, there was a Muslim Santa. His name was Rahim. He was a great poet and saint during Mughal period of Indian history. So he was a Muslim by birth. He was a great devotee of Lord Krishna. His name was Rahim, but he was a great devotee of Lord Krishna. When he would give the alms in charity, Dan dene ke waqt, he would lower his eyes. He would lower his eyes. An endearing incident is related to this habit of his. It is said that Tulsidas, he heard about this style of Rahim of giving the alms, and he asked, Rahim ji, Sir, where did you learn this way of giving the alms? Your hands are high and your eyes are low. ऐसा ऐसे आर्म्स कैसे देते हैं? ऐसे भिक्षा कैसे देते हैं आप? That your arms are up, but your eyes are low. Him reflect beautifully to him in all humanity. He said, the giver is someone else. ऊपर है. So I pointed my hands to him that the giver is someone else giving day and night. But the world would credit me. It is giving credit to me that I am giving them. So I lower my eyes. ये क्या हो रहा है? I lower my eyes. The giver is sitting up, but the credit I am getting. So I lower my eyes, understanding that we are not the sole cause, the only cause responsible for our accomplishment. It frees us from the egoistic pride of our doership. Look number 18. ज्ञानैज्ञेयं परिज्ञाता त्रिविधा कर्म चोदना कर्णं कर्म कर्तेति त्रिविधः कर्म संग्रहः. Jnana, knowledge, Jnaya, the object of knowledge, and Parinyata, the knower. These three are the factors that induce action. Trividha karma chodhana. Karma chodhana, induce of action. The instrument of action, karana. The action itself, karma. Karteti, the doer, Trividha karma sangraha. These are the three constituents of action. So in this systematic treatment of science of action, Shri Krishna explains the limbs, the constituents of action. He also explained the karmic reaction of action, karma, and the process of becoming free from our actions. He explains the threefold actions that propel our threefold factors rather that propel our actions. These threefold factors are Jnana, knowledge, Jnaya, the object of knowledge, and the Jnata, the knower. Together, these three are called the Jnana Triputi, triad of action. Jnana Triputi, Jnana, Jnaya, and Jnata. So, knowledge is the primary impetus for action. That is called Karma Chodhana, impetus for action. It provides understanding to the knower about the object of knowledge. So this Triputi, this triad of Jnana, Jnaya, and Jnata, it induces the action. That is why it is called Karma Chodhana, the inducer of action. For example, the knowledge of remuneration to be paid by employer, it motivates the employees to work, isn't it? Information for discovery of gold in various parts of gold, various parts of world, it led the gold rushers involving feverish migration of workers. So the gold in South Africa. So awareness of importance of winning a medal in the Olympic, it motivates a sports person to practice for many years that I will win some medal in the Olympic. Knowledge is also a correlation to the quality of work. What quality of work we do? For instance, a degree from a top-ranking college, say IIT or IIM, it carries a weight in the job market. Corporations realize that people with higher quality of knowledge can perform work more proficiently. The quality of knowledge does matter in the job market as well, not only in Adhyatma. That is why good corporations invest in the development of their employees, such as sponsoring them for developmental seminars to further advance their skills. So knowledge is something which we should keep on acquiring continuously. So this was the Jnana Triputi. Jnana, Jnaya, and Jnata. Now the second set is named Karma Triputi, Karma Sangraha, Karma Triputi. It includes Karta, Karan, the instrument of action, and Karma, the action itself, the Karma itself. So this is the Karma Triputi, the triad of action. This Triputi jointly constitutes the content of action. Karta, Karan, and Karma. So the doer utilizes the Karan, the instrument of action, to perform the action. That means the Karta utilizes the current to perform the karma. That's why it is the karma triputi. Shri Krishna now relates them to the three modes of material nature, Satpurjotamo, to explain why people differ from each other in their motivations, in their motives and actions. So once we understand these two triputis, Jnana and Karma triputi, now Paramatma will explain how the motives and actions of people differ. Slok 19. Jnanam karma cha karta cha tadaiva guna bhedatah procyate guna sankhyaane yathavachyunatanyapi. Knowledge, action and doer. The triputi what we discussed, knowledge, action and doer are declared to be the three kinds in the Sankhya philosophy. Guna Sankhyaane, distinguished according to the three modes of material nature. Tadaiva guna bhedatah. And I will explain their distinction to you. Yathavat shrunu anyapi. So listen, shrunu, listen. Now Sankhya Shastra holds that Prakriti or man is made of three gunas of Prakriti, Satpurjatam. Now this is a form of 24 elements. We know how our body is formed. Those who remember 13th Adhyaya, they know what constitutes this kshetra or this body. This kshetra is made of Mahabhutanya Hankaro Bhadra Vyaktamevacha Indriyana Desha Ekancha Panchacha Indriya Gocharaha. This is what we learn in the 5th sloka of 13th Adhyaya. Mahabhut Pancha Mahabhuta Aham 1. Buddhi 1. Avyakta Prakriti 1. Jnanendriya 5. Karmendriya 5. Man 1. And Indriya Vishay, Shabda Sparsha Rupa Sagandha 5. If we make a total of this comes to 24 elements. So these elements operate due to the presence of actionless Purush. That is the soul. Body is composed of these 24, but these elements work because of the presence of actionless Atma, Purush in our body. Unless the mind is purified, the spiritual reality cannot be known. According to Sankhya Shastra, to know through spiritual realization, the reality of Prakriti and Purush is the acid test of the true knower. You should be able to distinguish between what is Prakriti and what is Purush and how they are related to each other. The central idea is that to know the role of three gunas of the unmanifest Prakriti, can we see Prakriti? But still the gunas of Prakriti are there, no? So the idea is that we should know the roles of these three gunas, Sattva, Raja, Tamo, which is possible through spiritual realization only. Shri Krishna once again refers to the three modes of nature. Pracyate guna sankhyaane yathavachyunatanyapi tadaiva guna bhetada. In the Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, 14th Adhyaya, he had given an introduction of the three modes of Prakriti nature, Sattva, Raja, Tamo, Gunatraya Vibhaga. We discussed at length in that, describing how each of them binds the soul to the samsara of life and death. As we discussed, even Sattvic Guna binds you. Then in the Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga, in the 17th Adhyaya, Shri Krishna Bhagavan went into the great details about how these three modes of Prakriti influence the kind of faith people develop. And in that Adhyaya, we also discussed how their food of the choice of food also differs. Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic. What kind of food they prefer. He also explained the categories of Yajna, Tapa, Dana on these three categories, Sattva-Rajatamo. We discussed what is Sattvic Yajna, Rajasic Yajna, Tamasic Yajna in 17th Adhyaya, Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga. Here, according to these three gunas, the Lord will explain three types of knowledge, actions and doers. So Jnana is of three types, Karma are of three types, and Karta are of three types. This is what Shri Krishna Bhagavan is going to explain now. See, there are six systems of thoughts in Indian philosophy. 6 systems of thoughts. They are the 6 prominent should I say, system of thoughts in Indian philosophy, or also known as Sad-darshan. Sad-darshan. They are Nyaya, logic. Vaisheshika, the atomic theory. Sankhya, the analysis of matter and spirit, Prakriti and Purush. Yoga, the discipline of self-realization. Purva Mimamsa, science of ritual. Vedanta, the science of God realization. So out of these 6 systems, the Sankhya philosophy is considered or recognized as an authority in the analysis of material nature, that is Prakriti. It considers the soul as the Purush, Lord, and thus recognizes many Purushas. Every soul is a Purush. Because every soul is a Purush. And includes all the things made from it. Sankhya philosophy, it states the cause of misery is the desire of Purush to enjoy the Prakriti. That means the soul, its desire to enjoy the body. When this enjoying propensity subsides, then the Purush is released from the bondage of material nature, from Prakriti, and attains the eternal bliss, eternal beatitude. The Sankhya philosophy does not recognize the existence of Parampurush. It never discusses Parampurush also. It concentrates only on these 2 things, Prakriti and Purush, body and soul. Super soul, Paramatma, it doesn't discuss. Hence, it is insufficient because it does not discuss Parampurush. So it is insufficient. Sankhya philosophy is insufficient that way for knowing the absolute truth, which is Paramatma. But Sankhya philosophy does not introduce us to Paramatma. However, in the matter of knowing about Prakriti, body, and Purush, the soul, Shri Krishna Bhagavan also refers Sankhya philosophy as an authority. That's why he is referring to this Sankhya. Next sloka. Sarvabhuteshu enaikam bhavavam vemikshate evaktam vivakteshu tajnanam vidya sattvikam. Understanding the knowledge. Brother, we should understand the knowledge in the mode of goodness. Now God is telling about the jnana. What is sattvic jnana, what is rajasic jnana, and what is tamasic jnana. Understand the knowledge to be in the mode of goodness, that means sattvic jnana, by which a person sees one undivided, imperishable reality within all diverse beings. Sarva bhuteshu enekam bhavavam vikshate avivaktam vivakteshu. Avivaktam vivakteshu, that jnanam vidya sattvikam. That jnana you call it sattvic jnana. So this visible world is made of time, space, and causation. It looks different and apart from different angles and locations. Everyone looks at world differently, isn't it? This phenomenal universe is full of diversity, multiplicity, and relativity. The spiritual yogis, the spiritual masters say that behind this diverse phenomena, they see the hidden unity and uniformity, which is the basic reality. It is this knowledge which is called sattvic knowledge. That in the diverse universe, there is one factor which keeps them together, that is the sattvic knowledge. This vision is possible only with cultivation of spiritual eye, which does not come without spiritual sadhana. To see God everywhere, can you see it with material eyes? You need to go through spiritual sadhana. Then only you can cultivate the spiritual eye. The knowledge of phenomenal world is acquired through mind and senses, which depends on intellect, which depends on I-ness, ego, which is lighted by our Chaitana, our prana power, which emanates from the soul. The eternal part of God, we learn that in 15th Adhyaya. The creation, the universe gives appearance of a panorama of diverse living beings and material entities. But the base, the substratum of this apparent diversity is one, that is Supreme Lord. Those who possess this vision of knowledge see the unity that exists behind variety of creations. This is how you know, just as the electrical engineer sees the same electricity flowing through different gadgets, whether it is fridge or microwave or AC or fan or whatever, same electricity flows through all of them. So God is like that. A goldsmith, he sees the same gold cast into different ornaments. God is like that. Bhagavad says, knowers of the truth have stated that there is only one entity in existence, without second. There is no second entity, only one entity that exists. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu referred to God in his form as Shri Krishna. Directly says Shri Krishna is the God, he is the Paramatma. As Avya Dhyan Sadhana, one without second. Avya Dhyan Sadhana is Bhagavan Shri Krishna only. The only thing and everything that exists in creation is Shri Krishna only. On the basis of following four criteria, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said about Shri Krishna that he is the Avya Dhyan Sadhana. Which are those four factors? Sajatiya Bheda Shunya. He is one with all similar entities. Sajatiya Bheda Shunya. Shri Krishna is the one with various other forms of God, such as Shri Ram, Shiva, Vishnu. Since these are different manifestations of the same God. So Shri Krishna is Sajatiya Bheda Shunya. He has no difference between him and Vishnu. He has no difference between him and Shiva. No difference between Shri Krishna and Shri Ram. So yes, Sajatiya Bheda Shunya. Shri Krishna is also the one with souls, who are his tiny fragments. A fragment is one with its whole, just as flames are the one with the fire of which they are the tiny parts. So our soul is also a tiny flame of the same fire. Second, about Shri Krishna, Vijatiya Bheda Shunya. First was Sajatiya Bheda Shunya. Second is Vijatiya Bheda Shunya. He is one with all dissimilar entities. Dissimilar to God is Maya, which is insentient, while God is sentient. However, Maya is the energy of God, we know that. And the energy is one with its energetic, such as energies of fire, heat, light. They are not different from him. So Vijatiya Bheda Shunya. Third is Swagata Bheda Shunya. The various parts of his body are not different from him. The amazing thing about God's body is that all the parts perform the functions of all the other parts. Brahma Samhita states this. Every limb of his body, God can see, God can hear, God can talk, God can smell, God can eat and think. Hence, all the limbs of God are non-different from him. We studied this in 30th Adhyaya also. Fourth quality, Swayam Siddha. That means Shri Krishna Bhagavan, he needs the support of no other entity. Maya and soul are both dependent upon God for their existence. If we did not energize the Maya or the soul, they would cease to exist. On the other hand, God is supremely independent. He doesn't need anybody's support and does not need support of any other entity for his existence. The Supreme Lord Shri Krishna satisfies all the 4 points what we discussed just now. Thus, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu calls him Avya Jnana Tattva. Shri Krishna Bhagavan is the Avya Jnana Tattva. With this understanding, when we see the entire creation in its unity with the God, it is considered Sattvic knowledge. So God is explaining what is Sattvic knowledge. So this is the Sattvic knowledge. And love based on such knowledge is not racial or national, rather it is universal. The new vision makes all the change. People around you may laugh at you when you acquire this new knowledge and talk about it. We'll discuss a small story and close today's topic. Do we have an opinion about a person as soon as we see him? We say somebody and make our opinion. It may be wrong. We may realize it later on. Once a 26-year-old young man, he and his father were traveling in the train. The boy was repeatedly peeping out of the window and was screaming and laughing on seeing the trees and plants, like a small kid. The couple was sitting adjacent to that father and son duo. They found it very strange that is 26, a young 20-year-old young boy, young man, was laughing loud at the sight of trees and plants like a 6-year-old boy. The 26-year-old young man was behaving like a child when he sees new object for as if he is seeing the new object for the first time. The couple was getting very uncomfortable seeing this and were looking at the young man very weirdly. कि पागल आदमी है क्या ये? Then the father said to the young man, "Look, son, look at the clouds in the sky outside. They are also traveling with us, not only the trees. Look at those clouds. They are also coming with us." Seeing the father treat his adult son like a small child, the couple could no longer hold back and suddenly said to the young man's father, "आप क्या कर रहे हैं?" He's a young man, 25, 26, 30-year-old. You're telling you, look at cloud, look at tree. What is this? He's a small boy or what? He said, "Don't you know your son's behavior is not really normal? You should take your son to a good doctor. He's enjoying seeing the clouds and enjoying seeing the trees running in the train." Hearing the young man's father replied, "Yes, we're actually coming from the doctor's place only. Actually, my son could not see, but today he is able to see everything for the first time in his life due to successful eye surgery. Every moment, this outside world is full of wonder for him because he never seen this. That is why he is happy. He is so happy today." The couple were shocked to hear this. Words stopped and feelings rose. Now they regret their thoughts and their behavior, that they were laughing at a young man and they did not do good by doing this. So it often happens that we make perceptions, preconceptions about people without thinking, and our thinking and behavior towards that person becomes a slave of our prejudice. We see and start believing. So we become slave of our own thoughts. We are unable to think beyond that. What is the opposite of prejudice and preconception? Let us try to see and understand people with an open mind and an open heart, without any prejudice, without any preconceptions. It reflects our consciousness, which is the first step in yoga. If we are not able to think objectively, we will always remain afflicted with prejudice. An impartial attitude and joyful heart are not only for others, it is also essential for our personal growth. So let us cleanse our thinking and not make our mind by mere prejudices. I think we should stop here and take questions now. Thank you so much. Jai Shri Krishna to all. Jai Shri Krishna.
Yeah. That was an enlightening session, and Bhaiya dealt in detail about how to surrender completely to God at the same time doing our daily karmas. He discussed in detail with stories to make us understand the shlokas learned this week. We will be seeing more of this in coming sessions. Now it's time for question and answers. I request those who want to ask questions to raise their hands and switch on their cameras and wait for their turn. Please make the questions precise so that more questions can be taken. A reminder to everyone to please do some seva in Geeta Pariwar as per your talent. Bhaiya, over to you for question and answers.
Jai Shri Krishna. One small request, Didi. Within next 20 minutes, I will have to start Vivechar of 13th Adhyay.
Yeah.
So today's question answer, we may have to keep a little short. We can take
Yeah.
the questions in next section.
Next.
But whatever questions are there, we can handle those. No problem.
Yes. Yeah. Rajendra Bhaiya.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Now we come to know that our actions are linked to good and bad actions of during our previous life.
Yes. Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Our sanskars. Yes.
yeah, samskar maybe.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
question is, why the God has to create such bad and good gunas and varieties of people, one among them the bad people, etc. And he again wants to come and kill the people and eradicate those activities. All this, why he should create among the souls or individuals' mind? He himself creates and he himself wants to kill the people or to remove these such bad activities.
Okay. Okay, see, God has created Prakriti, and it is Prakriti's magic of playing with the human life or any other life with its three gunas, Sat, Para, Tamo. God is not asking you to follow Tamo or Rajo. He is expecting you to follow Sattva only. But because you have the freedom of thinking and freedom of action, you decide on your own based on the intellect that is given to Prakriti to think the way you want or to act the way you want, isn't it? So the freedom of thinking and freedom of work is given to you. You misuse it. If you misuse it, God has to punish the misusers. You imagine, you say that God, why He has created different people like this? Can you
Yeah.
imagine 8 billion population of the entire world of the same nature? All will become robo. Can we imagine? Will there be any charm in the life if entire population of the world is having the same nature? There will not be any variety.
Then,
People will go mad. No variety.
then people are
We
there
have got
in
robots.
such a yuga without doing all
Hmm.
these such activities. Then it's
Ah.
also we felt it very happy. So days
See,
are coming.
he
Yeah,
is testing us. He has given us
yeah,
this life, human life, to test whether we can achieve him, we can attain him or not. We might have lived many lives in the earlier lives also.
maybe. Yeah, maybe.
This is our chance. When we get a human life, which has got the Viveka Buddhi, the discretionary power, the intellect, that is the species which has the ability to attain God. No other species of 84 lakh million, 84 lakh unis has that.
Yeah,
If we don't use it, then we have to face the music, then we have to face the consequences. So it is a test. And unless we pass the test, we cannot attain the God. Suppose we start attaining the God without doing anything, we work normally the way we are, good, bad, ugly, and we attain the God. Then all the sons and Mahatmas who have devoted life and life for attaining God, what they will say? We strived so much for so many lives to attain you, and you are doing favor to these people without doing anything, they are attaining you. Is it a partiality or not?
yeah,
So God does not want to become partial for anyone. You do good, you get good. You do bad, you get bad. So don't blame the God for this. We have to blame ourselves if we act bad.
yeah,
He has
yes,
given us
yes,
the intellect to think good only, but we get attracted to the material world and we keep committing crimes after crimes, bad things after bad things. This is God responsible for that. If
yeah,
we are reading Gita and we are thinking good about it, it is good for us. But if we are not reading Gita and we are doing something bad, how can you blame God for that? He is asking you to read Gita and think good about Him. You are
yeah,
not doing that. So how can we blame God for that? We have to blame ourselves for misusing the free will that He has given to us, isn't it?
yes, yes, yes. Thank you, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, please?
Sushila ji is there. Should we take it today or next week we can take, sir?
Yeah, yeah. You can take a couple of questions more. We can take, no problem.
ओके ओके हाँ सुशीला जी जल्दी पूछ लीजिए या भैया को और एक सेशन में जाना है या
हाँ
सुशीला जी
हाँ
हाँ
जय
कैमरा
श्री
सब लोग
कृष्णा।
ठीक से रखिए
हाँ, मुझे ये
कैमरा
पूछना था कि हाँ
हाँ,
हाँ
पूछिए।
पूछिए पूछिए
हाँ मुझे ये पूछना था कि हाँ घर में जैसे हम घर में रहते हैं हमें ये लगे कर्म खराब हो रहा है, जैसे मच्छर मारते हैं, मक्खी मारते हैं, जैसे कबूतर घर बनाते हैं तो वो हमें हटाना पड़ता है। तो ये क्या करें, हम करना पड़ता है? अभी मक्खी घर में मक्खी आएगी तो मारने बीटर से मारते हैं और मन में ये रहता है कि पाप कर्म हो रहा है। कबूतर रोज ही घोंसला बनाने एसी के ऊपर बना देते हैं तो तोड़ते हैं रोज। तो क्या करें, ये किसको अर्पण करें, भगवान को अर्पण करें कि क्या करें, समझ नहीं आता।
ऐसा करिए जो मैंने किया मैं बता रहा हूँ आपको। कबूतर आते हैं तो पिजन नेट
हाँ
लगा
जी।
दीजिए सब जगह, सारी खिड़कियों को, सारी बालकनियों को पिजन नेट लगा दीजिए, कबूतर आना बंद हो जाएंगे। आएंगे नहीं तो हम मारेंगे नहीं उनको, है ना।
ऐसे
तो उनका आना अवॉइड करना, उनका आना
हाँ,
अवॉइड
वो
करना ही हमारे हाथ
मंगाया
में है।
था, वो जो सुई से होते हैं वो फिर भी।
नहीं नहीं, पिजन नेट्स आर
हाँ,
अवेलेबल ऑफ
उनका
गुड
आना
क्वालिटी।
अवॉइड करना चाहते हैं हम, हाँ, और तो कुछ नहीं करना चाहते कि वो
हाँ, तो
नहीं
आना अवॉइड तभी
करें।
कर सकते हैं आप व्हेन यू
हाँ
इंस्टॉल द
जी।
पिजन नेट्स इन ऑल योर बालकनीज, इन ऑल योर
अच्छा,
विंडोज,
ठीक है।
then the pigeons will not come. When they don't come, you don't have to kill them. So no question of committing any sinful act, isn't it? But if you talk of mosquitoes or rats,
भगाते हैं पर तभी उनके एग्स
हाँ,
टूटते हैं।
so you should do pest
हाँ,
control
इनका
regularly
ये
every once or 1 year so that they don't come. But
हाँ,
if they come and if you kill them, it's not a big crime because you have to maintain your good health.
वो
If you allow
ना
all mosquitoes, all rats to come into your place
हुँ,
and if it affects your health, how will you continue your spiritual sadhana with bad health? Can we do that?
हुँ, हुँ,
If people start suffering with chikungunya and all sorts of
हुँ,
things, can they
हुँ।
perform spiritual sadhana?
हाँ, वो तो
So to
मुझे भी
eliminate
लगता
the obstacles, to eliminate obstacles that hamper our spiritual sadhana is granted. You consider them as terrorists only. If a
है।
terrorist
और
comes into
आपने,
your
मैंने
house,
आपसे
will you
पूछा
kill him
था ना
or
कि
you will
कैसे
welcome
वो
him?
करें ध्यान, ऐसे अच्छा लगता है वो सब, तो आपने मुझे बोला था कि वो करिए, आसन करिए, वो करिए। मैं कर रही हूँ और
हाँ,
मुझे अच्छा लग रहा है, फ़र्क पड़ रहा है, लग रहा है
हाँ,
मुझे।
very good, very good, very good.
पहले
So
ऐसे
for doing
प्राणायाम करती हूँ और उसके बाद मेडिटेशन करती हूँ, तो उससे अच्छा
excellent.
लगता है।
Do
पहले
some
मैं
good
रेगुलर
pranayam,
नहीं
do
थी,
some
रेगुलर हूँ।
kapalbhati,
हाँ
kapalbhati,
जी। तो
Bhasrika,
मेरा
do
ये
some
कि मन
Brahmari.
भरा था,
Yes.
ऐसे आँखों में आँसू गिरने लगे, क्या क्या सोच के वो मुझे पता नहीं।
अच्छा है, that is showing your
ये
connection with
रोज़
the
हो रहा
God. When you are getting so much emotional with the God, that is speaking of your good connection with the God.
है। मुझे ऐसे
Okay,
लगता
any
है
other
शायद
questions?
है भगवान, लगता है मुझे भी।
Jai Shri Guru.
बहुत जय श्री
Any other questions?
बाबा जी चरण दास।
हाँ, हरि ओम, नमस्ते। We know that Jivatma is part and parcel of Paramatma, and
Yes.
who is doing work and who is experiencing the karma phala.
Yes.
That's the question.
Prakriti does the karma. Prakriti does the karma, and the consequences are faced by Purush. That is the tragedy. And he has to face that because he identifies himself with the body. He identifies himself with the Prakriti. That's why Purush has to suffer. When he gets entangled, when he gets attached with the Prakriti, that means the soul getting attached with the body, that I am body, and whatever life force I am giving to the body, mind, senses, that means I am doing it, then it has to face the consequences. If it gets detached from this, after reading Gita, if we detach ourselves totally from the body, that let the body do its work, the normal indriyas will keep on seeing, on listening, or on eating, or smelling, or hearing, let them do their work. My soul is not involved. I am not getting affected by the good or bad of Indriya and Indriya Vishay coming together. The reaction could be good, favorable, or unfavorable, happy, or unhappy. My internal peace, I will not allow to get disturbed. When we detach ourselves like this from our senses, mind, and intellect, then we get detached from our karma phala as well.
You will not experience any karma phala, previous karma phala. If
Previous karma phala, we have to you see with our this life's karma phala, this kind of sadhana of getting trashed, we are
yes,
cleansing our past also. Our past sanskar also are getting cleansed. And cleansing of sanskar is a must because, as I said, all our karmas are happening because of our past sanskars. Sanskars dictate to our mind that this is your nature. Mind dictates it to our senses that this is the way. Senses, they perform the karmas accordingly. If we don't cleanse our past sanskars, we'll continue to do as we have been doing for ages, for last so many lives. So the purpose of learning Gita is to cleanse our past sanskars
yes, definitely.
so that we perform good karmas in this life and then we don't come back in this world again. Get rid of this life and death. It may not happen in this life, may happen in the next life. But whatever we are doing now will definitely not go waste.
Jivatma is experiencing or somebody experiencing the karma? Who is
What is that?
experiencing? Who is experiencing karma phala? Jivatma or somebody else? Karma phala.
Karma phala, Jivatma is getting attached to the body. That's why it has to face. Actually, it is inert. It does not face it. But because of his attachment with the body, he has to face. Generally, what faces, as I said in the explanation, who feels the joy? It is the mind that feels the joy. If you eat a jalebi, will your soul come to know that you are eating jalebi or you are eating a karela? It is the mind which tests whether it is bitter or it is sweet. Soul is not. Soul does not have any senses. It cannot taste. It cannot see. It cannot talk. It is the mind that perceives what is good and what is bad.
Body and mind, their experience.
Body, mind, and senses. These are the three. This group of three, they decide about our actions, about our karmas, and they are dictated by our past karma, past samskars.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Bhaiya, और लेना है क्या? One more person is there. Should we
Yeah.
take?
Okay. One more we can take. We'll take
Yeah.
one more.
हाँ, नरेंद्र जी का लास्ट है, नेक्स्ट टाइम बाकी जो भी है तो वो अगले करते
Give one more extra, Mukunji and Narenji.
हैं. हाँ,
Yeah.
नरेंद्र जी, yeah.
Namaskar, sir. I appreciate
Namaskar.
and thank you very much indeed for your fantastic vivation, which I enjoy thoroughly and I've learned so much. The Mano, Vak, and Sharir. These are the
Yeah,
three
Sharir
ones
Avan.
that are. These are three that are actually inspired by the soul, and without the inspiration of soul, none of these can function. Right?
Yes, very right.
Now,
Right.
what I feel is controlling the Vak and Sharir probably is not that difficult. However, controlling of the mind is probably, as we all know, probably the most difficult thing one can achieve. How,
Yes.
if I'm not able to control the functioning of my soul, do I actually blame, if I'm not able to control my mind, do I actually blame my soul for my inability to control my mind? That is one. And what are the tools that I can use in order to control my mind, which I am really working very, very hard towards. I'm trying, of course, towards Satvika and the other things that you have actually taught us. Please, sorry, I won't take much time.
Yeah, okay. It's like this. When we study third Adhyay, we come to know the hierarchy. Our gross body is at the lowest, then senses, then our mind, our that intellect, and above that is our soul. That is the hierarchy of our life. Okay. Mind, above mind is our intellect, our buddhi. So if you want to cleanse your mind, you have to cleanse your buddhi. Chitta Shuddhi and Buddha Shanti is to be done first. That can be done by spiritual sadhana. Sit in meditation, take a thought for meditation for an hour every day in the morning, say 4 o'clock or 4:30. Cleanse your mind, cleanse your intellect. Once you cleanse your intellect, then the mind will not think impure thoughts. Mind thinks impure because our intellect is not purified. If we purify our intellect, then the mind has to think, it has to toe the line of our intellect. Mind is not independent. So Chitta Shuddhi is a must. And these different tools that we are discussing about sadhana, dhyan, dharana, sadhana, nama japa, these are all the instruments for doing our Chitta Shuddhi.
That
we
is
have
a
to go step by step.
That is despite the Chitta Shuddhi, despite the, you really have the desire to.
Yeah.
But despite that, obviously, it takes a lot of sadhana. That's what you're trying to say.
Of course, yes. It takes a lot of time and it's not easy. Easier said than done to control the mind. But as I said, the karma done by mind or the karma done by vak, it does not have that severe consequences as the karma done by body and senses. Because body and senses physically do something. While mind, you're not physically doing anything. You're not physically doing any bad thing. Bad thoughts are coming to your mind. The consequences are not that severe as you really commit it.
However,
So the level of
one might act, the consequence of the thought could be an action. One might actually act on the, as a consequence of the thoughts.
Yeah, that's right. But when the thought, that's why when the thought comes to the mind, then and there only you have to kill the thought. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan parthamanogatan. Bhagavan says in second adhyaya that when a kamana arises in your mind, kill it from the root. Prajahati. Jahati is to kill. Prajahati, Krishna goes a step further. Kill it, uproot it from the root only. Then the bad actions will stop. We allow our thinking to go in whatever it wants to go. We allow our mind free. We sit on a sofa and keep dreaming many things, and the mind keeps on wandering here and there, and we keep enjoying. Oh my God, kya maja aa raha hai, mast aa raha hai. That is the mistake we do. That is the mistake we do. We think that I'm only thinking in my mind. I'm not harming anybody.
No.
But
Well,
that is the
we've got to
great thing.
control that. Of course, we cannot indulge in that and then, blame somebody else. No, certainly not.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yeah, please. Thank you, Nathanji. You can ask next week. Okay. Yeah. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Vikas Vaidya ji for clearing the doubts of our sadhaks. Huh? Didi?
Bhaiya is here. Is the last question.
Acha, okay.
Okay. Please go ahead.
Nathanji, yeah. Mukund ji, aap puch lijiye. Mukund ji, you can ask.
I can ask next week. You continue. I'll ask next week.
It's okay. You can go ahead if you have any doubt. You can
No,
ask.
mine's a little deeper question anyway. We talk about the knower and the doer, and the exact what is the exact bathe for that? That is one question, and then the Prakriti and Atma, what their tight relation is. So it may take time for you to explain.
It will
So
take a lot of time, but I will tell
week.
you in short about Prakriti and Purush. Atma is soul, Purush. So Prakriti and Purush, the relationship between them is this. Purush does not act. It is the Prakriti that acts. Purush has to face the consequences. When we read 13th Adhyay, we will be clear about it. Karyagana kartritve hetu prakriti ruchyate, purushasya ko dukkhanam bhoktritve hetu ruchyate. Karyagana prakriti karti hai sab, but sukha dukkhanam Purush has to suffer that. It is, like a farmer, he is doing his karma in his field, but the nature is, rain is not falling or it is falling excess. So he is doing his karma, but the consequence, the result of his karma, the karma phala that he gets, sukha or dukkha, he has to suffer that. He is doing everything good for him. But if the nature is stringent, if the nature is not good and supporting his farming, then he has to suffer. So whatever happens in the life of a farmer, as it depends on the nature, similarly, whatever happens in our life, it is the Prakriti, because our mind, intellect and body is given by Prakriti to us. So whatever we act, Trigunatmak Prakriti, as we say, Sattva Raja Tamo, is under the guidance of Prakriti only. Prakriti is forcing us to act as per three gunas.
Okay.
But the consequences are faced by the Purush, that means by the soul. So this is the relation between Prakriti and Purush. Rest of your questions will definitely take up in the next session.
We'll take, but I think the doubt is that we also say the Purush never is passive. So
he's passive. He's only a witness. He's passive. We say that.
Witness. So that is
but
why
the problem is,
okay.
See, as I said,
we can talk next week. I think you're in a hurry.
When the Purush provides life force, prana, chetana, to the body, mind and intellect, it starts claiming that I am doing this. Because they're acting, without me they cannot act.
Okay.
So I am the doer. I am the provider of life force to this, so I am the doer. That is the thing that causes a Purush to get bondaged with the acts done by the Prakriti or by the body.
Okay.
We'll continue in the next week.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Bhaiya. Thank you so much for clearing the doubts of our sadhaks. On behalf of Geeta Pariwar and myself, I extend sincere thanks to the technical team consisting of Rashmi Agrawalji and Rashmi Mateji and all those who have been at the backstage for the relentless and efficient efforts in making the session a great success. May I take this opportunity to thank all those who attended this session. Please do continue your Geeta sadhana and attend these sessions to enrich your spiritual knowledge. So, today it's my turn to take the prayer. Let's invoke the blessings of Bhagavan Krishna and submit all today's Vivejan at the feet of Lord Krishna. Yogesham Satchidanandam Vasudevam Vrajapriyam Dharma Samsthapakam Virang Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Shri Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Om Shri Krishnarpanamastu. I request all of you to be there for Hanuman Chalisa. Yeah, Didi, Hanuman Chalisa, please.
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारि बरनउ रघुबर बिमल जसु जो दायक फलचारि बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र ध्वजा विराजय कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजय शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबेको आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबेको रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर सहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही सम भाई सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावै अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावै सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीना तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र योजन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर पल जानू प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाहि दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज समारो आपै तीनों लोक हाकते कापै भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवै महावीर जब नाम सुनावै नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावै मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावै सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा जिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावै सोई अमित जीवन फल पावै चारों जुग प्रताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नो निधि के दाता असबर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावै जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावै अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई संकट कटई मिटई सब पीरा जो सुमिरई हनुमत बल बीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत बार पाठ कर बोली छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई जो यह पढ़ हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरी सा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुर भूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय.
Thank you everyone for being there. May our week ahead be brighter and more beautiful. We shall see you back on another enlightening session next week. Till then.